السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you for joining my class. This is Emad Mohamed. I'm really pleased to have you here. Please, if you hear me, let me know. There's no problem with the voice or any technical issue. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Okay, welcome everyone.
Yes, I hear you.
Today I'm gonna lead you towards a journey in EmSAT preparation course. And first of all, I'd like you to spend a couple of minutes, maybe a maximum 4 minutes, overviewing the course. Of course, EmSAT has many modules on many subjects, but today we're going to have a main focus on reading and vocabulary. So kindly listen carefully. Of course, this is a silent movie. I can read throughout this movie, but I think it's better that you watch it carefully, because I think most of you, if not all of you, know about the format, the validity of this test, and what subjects are covered in this exam, EmSAT exam. You know about the facts about the exam. So I'm going to shed light on the mainly on the reading and vocabulary. Please spend a few minutes watching this. The main subjects are Arabic, English, Science, and Math. Of course, you can register on the MOE website. Here, I just want to shed light on this very important point, which is there's no pass. Pass score for the EmSAT. Either you fail or you pass. I mean, whatever score you get, it's the result. But it depends on the university you're applying for. If you apply for medicine or literature faculty, it will be different. So I think most of you or all of you would like to have the highest score. So here, math, the minimum required course 500 for math, in English 1,100. The main courses are Arabic, English, Math, and Science. Just log into the MOE website here, registration steps. These are descriptors. I'm gonna send or share with you a PDF file about the descriptors and writing bands and different instructions. During the test, before, during, and after, make sure you completed your registration. Make sure you print out all test tickets. If you are one of the special needs, you need to email your medically approved condition documents. Review the information on the EmSAT website and review the sample test term types of each test. During the test, you need to make sure that you bring your original Emirates ID with your test ticket. Take a copy to the test hall. Copies and pictures of Emirates ID are not accepted. Any copies should be original. Make sure you arrive at the test center at least 15 minutes earlier. Make sure you answer all the test questions. If you face any technical issue during the test, please inform the technician person in charge immediately. Make sure you end your test session properly before you leave the test hall, otherwise your test score will not be counted. It is not allowed to take pictures or using your mobile phones to the test halls. After the test, your results will be posted on your portal, usually within 3 weeks' time. The only way to get your result is through the EmSAT portal. No results will be released through other channels. Okay. Let's review the different sections of the EmSAT. Section 1 for English, we have grammar, vocabulary. Section 2, Section 3, close reading, and 4, extended reading, and finally we're going to get the Section 5, writing. I think you know all about grammar. Let's skip this part here. Different sections. Section 2, vocabulary. There are different types of vocabulary questions. You need to select the correct word. For example, this one, or words to complete a sentence. Select from multiple choice here. The words are very useful in academic context. This is one sample. You need to leave school early. You have to read the 4 choices first, A, B, C, and D, and see which most fits the context. Leaving the school early, I think all of you run through this experience. When you get any emergency case, you ask for a leave, or let's say permission. So logically, it makes sense to use A as permission. This is also multiple choice example. Another question would be close reading, section 3. Here you're gonna meet or find 2 reading texts. Level appropriate words have been removed. These words have been replaced with blanks. You must drag the words to fill the blanks. For example, this is by drag and drop. You read the context and try and understand it. Read from the first word until to come up with the first full stop. Sometimes you need to read the following statement to understand or figure out which missing word should be suitable here. So some students just read part of it or stop at the full stop here and still don't know the word. Okay, in this case, you need to continue reading until you are sure that you understand the context here. Then you need to decide which word should be suitable. Extended reading, section 4. There are 3 texts. One may come from a website, or it could be an advertisement, for example. The other 2 texts may be describing a situation. Yes?
These are the questions that we will explain today.
Yeah, we're gonna focus on reading and vocabulary, inshallah, today. Okay? The other 2 texts may be describing a situation. You may be they may be telling a story or a combination of the 2. The texts are approximately between 450 and 500 words each. Extended reading. You will be tested on the following reading skills. Identify the main idea of a text, what the author's message is. What does the author want us to know from the text? So the broad question here is identify the main idea of the text. What does the text tell you? Maybe perhaps he asks you to identify the main idea of a paragraph. Another skill is inference, like understanding what is implied. Conclusion. So what do you conclude from this text? Understanding the facts. Sequencing. Sequencing means the order. Events come in order. You'll be asked to put the events in order according to its appearance in the text. Understanding the order of events. Finding the meaning of an unfamiliar word. So understanding unknown or new words. You will come up with a question, ask you, there's this word in bold. Can you define the meaning of this word? It could be multiple choices, or you have to fill in the gap or write the meaning of. Mostly, it would be multiple choice question. I define the meaning of this word in bold. Textual coherence, how clear the text is. And also, one common question is pronoun reference. Pronoun reference means, for example, you get 2 sentences. One of them mention like a noun, a name, or a place, whatever, and the other statement or other part of the sentence has a pronoun. And ask you, what does this pronoun refer to? So you have to read back through the text to find out what does it refer to. These are common questions related to vocabulary and reading. This is a shape or the layout of reading. Extended reading, you get reading on left side and question on the right side. You're gonna go through the text and try to find evidence while you're answering. And you're advised to read the questions first, at least 3 or 4 questions. Get yourself familiar with the choices and spot or highlight the most important words in a question and find them, or find the synonyms of such words in the question, find them in the text. We will learn today what we're gonna do. And the last section is the writing. Okay, so overview of literacy skills. We're going to spend like maybe 10 minutes knowing about the main skills of reading. Of course, reading, we're going to define the definition of meaning of unknown words. We're going to use context to define the meaning. Skim text, read over text quickly to identify the general idea. Scan text, read through a text quickly to find specific details and information. And write extended structures in response to a prompt. The last skill here, we're going to use a specific strategy. Sometimes for comprehension questions, you ask to write a response to an answer to in response to text. You get excerpts from the text and say, what do you conclude from this? Or you get an open-ended question. You have to write maybe a short paragraph in response to this. How to write a short paragraph in response to a question? We're going to use a strategy called race strategy. I'm going to explain this later on. Types of text are descriptive, process, comparative and contrast texts, cause and effect, problem solution, classification. Well, please have a look here at the different skills. How to make connection.
So let's make connections. How do readers make connections? Good readers make connections by using what they already know to connect a text to their life experiences, another text, or the world. Text to self means connecting the story to your life and experiences. This reminds me of that one day. Text to text means connecting the story to another book. This reminds me of that one book I read. Text to world, connecting the story to the real world. I remember hearing about this on the news.
So this is how to connect the text to your own experience. Sometimes you read the same information, read about this information in a different text, a different book. This is connecting the text to a text, or even connect what you get from the text from your own experience. This is text to self, or connected to what you heard in the news. This is text to word. This is very important to understand the overall meaning of the text. Okay, and also to try to get to answer the questions. What about author's main idea? Let's try to have a quick look. This is what the author wants us to know from the text. When you want to get the main idea of text, perhaps you need to find the most repeated words. Read the title. If there's a picture, try to figure out what the picture tells you. There are many repeated words in the text, actually. These will be like clues to find out the main idea of the text. So, for example, this text here, sports can be dangerous in many ways. Many people who play sports break bones. Some athletes get paralyzed. Some athletes die while playing sports. People who play sports need to be careful. Let me ask you, what do you think the main idea of this text here? Short text.
Let's go find out.
What's it about?
How to make
sorry. What's the text about here? Let me get it. Who knows the repeated words in this short text? Yes?
Sport.
Yeah, the main word is sport. And what is the theme of it? In what aspect are we talking about sport? In what pattern, what point? Sports.
The dangerous. The dangerous.
Yeah, sports could be dangerous sometimes. Very good. And you need to, the message is you need to take care, right? Be careful. This is a message. Well, the last thing I need to shed light on is make an inference. How to make inference. And this is very important to understand between lines. Make an inference. Listen carefully.
Learning targets you should be walking away with are: I can define an inference and I can determine how to make one. But what exactly is an inference? You see, we make inferences every day. We just may not know it. We make an inference when we read a book, while we watch a movie, and when we interact with each other. It's just not always clear. Let's take this scene for an example. This man is hitting his head with a laptop. We might be able to infer that this...
What do you infer from this situation? Watching somebody hitting himself with another tool, with a tool, or the wall, or like trying to harm himself. What do you infer? What do you guess? What do you conclude? Who can tell me?
Now you're ready to make your own connections.
So there you stand.
Everything plays here. I think we finished this slide. Just a minute. What do you infer from this, please? Tell me. When you see somebody hitting himself or trying to injure himself, he must be frustrated, right? This guy, or whether being a man or woman, must be frustrated or feeling sad or has trouble in his life. This is called inference or conclusion. Well, here we go. What about when you answer the comprehension question? This is very important actually, because sometimes you ask it to write extended text in response to the question. When you answer reading comprehension prompt, employ the RACE writing strategy in response to the text. For example, why is Grand Canyon an attractive place to tourists? Let's watch this. A few minutes, only 2 minutes.
Welcome back, Math Grizz. This video will teach you the RACE strategy. The R stands for restate the question. Then the A stands for answer the question. The C stands for cite text evidence, and the E stands for explain with examples. Answer the question below. Use evidence from the text to support your answer. Why is the Grand Canyon an attractive place to tourists? We will now use the RACE strategy to answer this question. The R stands for restate the question, and parents like to restate what you say. So that's exactly what we're going to do. First, we have to take out the question words. Now we can go ahead and re-say it. The Grand Canyon is an attractive place to tourists. Now, when someone asks you a question, you answer it. So that's exactly what the A stands for. Answer the question. Remember, the question is, why is the Grand Canyon an attractive place to tourists? We can answer that by saying, it is an attractive place to tourists because they can take boat rides, hike, and look at many things. Now we have to work on our C. C stands.
Of course, when you answer this question, you need to find evidence in the text itself. You need to refer to cite the evidence from the text, any part of this which tells you that the answer is it's attractive place to tourists. Okay? Never give an answer without evidence from the text.
And look at many things. Now we have to work on our C. C stands for cite text evidence. We have to prove that what we said above is true by citing the text.
Support your answer.
In the text, A Natural Beauty, it states, they take boat rides down the Colorado River. Also, it states...
What I like actually when I get an answer from a student writing a quotation, or let's say excerpt or citation from the text. What is the signal word? The signal word, when you refer to a text or evidence in the text, you say in the text, or the text states, and put quotation marks. In the text, A Natural Beauty, this is the title of the text. It states they take boat ride down the Colorado River. Okay, this is they took boat rides. Also, it states people come from around the world to hike the dusty trails. That means they must enjoy it because they come from around the world. This is a good evidence. So always use these like signal words, it states, the text says, okay?
People come from all around the world to hike the dusty trails. The E stands for explain. For this one, we are going to explain by giving a text-to-text connection or example. For example, I read another text about the Grand Canyon and I learned that tourists take pictures in front of the cliffs. Now we can put it all together.
You remember?
I read
when you make connection, this strategy or technique of making connection. This is also a reading skill, making connection. You need to connect what you are reading and the text you have to your own experience. This text to self, or to another text you already read or heard about, or to a news, what happens in nowadays in the world. So this is make a connection. You must do this. If you do follow the RACE or RACE strategy, no doubt you're going to ace the exam. You get a full mark, inshallah.
Another text about the Grand Canyon, and I learned that tourists take pictures in front of the cliffs. Now we can put it all together. We restated our question.
So I think you understand this point. What about reading exam test tips? This section provides tips and advice on how to properly manage the reading section of the exam. This is very important, actually. Sometimes you need to get yourself, focused before the exam day. You know, it's like you don't have to get stressed. You don't have to put yourself under pressure. Get relaxed and read and study and try to practice, apply the tips carefully. Pre-reading preparation. When you're reading the text, what you're supposed to do? Look through the text, the questions first. The first thing I advise you, the most or the golden rules strategy is read the questions. Okay? You hear me? Okay. You're supposed to read the questions so that you save time. Some students make a big mistake by reading the text first. This would be a waste of time. My golden rule is read the question. Get yourself familiar with the words, what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to find out by skimming and scanning from the text. 2, underline keywords from the question and make sure, pay attention that in the question sometimes a word in the question itself does not exist in the text, but another word with the same meaning or similar meaning. This is called synonyms. This is point 3. Then scan the text for you can refer now to the text after you understand what's supposed to do for the key underlined words, the words you underline from the question, and make sure that you need to mind that words could be synonyms. When you read, identify meanings of unknown words using context clues. Sometimes your understanding is blurred. You don't understand quite well because of missing words, some words you don't know. What should you do? Guess. Guessing is a great strategy. Guess and you make use of some signal words around the unknown word. We will practice this. I'm going to show you how. Make sure you can refer to the previous part of this word or the second part of this word, the part which comes follows. You may find the definition itself, or you may find a synonym or a related word which gives you a clue what this word means. Okay, always try to use context clues. 2.2, identify the main aspect idea of each paragraph. The main idea of each paragraph. Try to understand what each paragraph tells you about. Okay, brainstorm for appropriate heading, highlight the supporting details and examples. Find out the linking words which link an idea to another idea or a paragraph to the other. Employ fast reading skills for effective. Okay, sorry for this. Yes, employ fast reading skills, skimming and scanning. Skim text for general ideas, scan for specific details. We usually skim for, read quickly the main parts, the topic sense in a text, in a paragraph, repeated words, the heading. We read the picture itself to know the main idea. This is skimming. But when you read between lines, this is called scanning for details. Okay, well, while you're doing scanning, you infer as well. Okay, you need to watch your time. Remember, for time management is very important for test takers. I remember that I had to take IELTS sometime, twice or more because of time management. I had to develop my time management skill. Okay, let's read. Remember, the reading test is section timed, 15 minutes each section. Once the section's time is over, you will be automatically directed to the second section or the following one. Skim text for general idea and scan for details. Students should always seek to find evidence. After you read, after you finish, before submission, double check your answers. Here is a golden rule for time management. Available time is 45 minutes for reading, timed sections. Time management strategy 5-10-5. I advise you to spend the first 5 minutes reading the questions, get yourself familiar, and then skim and scan the text to find, swap between the text and question to find the answers. Okay, 5 minutes. Then go through the text and do practice it. 10 minutes. The other 10 minutes, read over the text quickly, scan and skim. Annotate, take notes. Perhaps you need a separate piece of paper if this allowed. Last 5 minute closure, review and double check and then submit.